Here we're going to do lettering, just basic lettering on an existing figure that was already made on a page in Illustrator. Making a lettering is not all that difficult, but a bit time consuming. If you click on the character palette or panel, you'll want to choose either Arial or Helvetica. These are non-serif fonts and they reproduce better. And then you'll choose a pixel size for your text, and then generally I go with bold. And in this instance we'll just do a capital A, B, C, and D. So if you click on the text tool, find your approximate position, and then type your letter, you can see from far away that the size is not appropriate, and so we would want to change the size, but we'd also want to change the color. So if you click and highlight that lettering or simply select it with the select tool, you can change the color of the lettering by clicking on the fill box in the toolbar and then going to color, your color palette, and then simply clicking on the white, this white bar here. And then to enlarge the lettering, we'll choose something a little higher, maybe 18 point, and looks like it should be even larger or greater than that, 24 point. And then we'll just leave that where it is, move it approximately into place, and go to the next letter and type that. And then this again, the color is incorrect here. We could also double click on our fill tool and select the color so that each letter now will be white. And then we'll type the next one, C. Oops. I'll go back to my select tool and then go back to my text tool to then select C, then to type C. And again, for some reason this isn't keeping my white values, and so I will click on the color bar, go back to select, go to the text tool, and then type my final letter and fill it with white. And then I can zoom in with the magnifier tool and adjust these one by one. So if I click the select tool and then click the lettering, you can move A into a position in which it's aligned with the edges of your image. And then from there you can do one of two things. You can use your arrow keys to move it over and count the increments so that you can match the increments of the other lettering, and this will make more sense as we move along. Or you can actually use the transform values to put the lettering into place. And so I'm going to use the transform values. What I'm going to do is move the lettering in 1 millimeter and down 1 millimeter. And so I'm going to change the X value for its placement to 4. And then I'm going to change the Y value to -4. Now I could write these numbers down if I want, but I'm not going to be quite so exact. And when I go to the B, I'm simply going to again do what I did with A, move it into place here, and then change these values by 1 millimeter to move this one into place. And if I was being very exacting, I'd write these numbers down, but for demonstration purposes, I'm simply going to move them into their position and show you this technique several times over. And in these instances, then I can get these, there was a mistake. I can hit Control Z to take me back to where I was, and I can move and I'll move this back into place again and start over. Again, I'll add a millimeter to the X orientation and a millimeter to the Y. to the Y position. And then do the same thing with the C. Oh, same problem. Try this again. And now when you zoom back by clicking on the magnifier tool, holding down the Alt or Option key, you can see that your lettering is now all aligned. If your lettering is over some sort of area where you are actually where it's confusing and you need to outline the lettering, you can do that as well. Again, I'm going to click on the magnifier tool and zoom in, and we'll just do that with the letter A. If I select A, I can create a black outline around A to make it easier to distinguish from the background. To do that, I click on the stroke box and then tell it that I want it to stroke. In this instance, it stroked it with white. If I go to the stroke panel, I can assign a weight to it. In this instance, the weight is 1 pixel. But I can also assign a color by simply clicking on the black in the color palette. And now what I've done is outline the lettering with black. If I zoom back, holding down the Alt or Option key, then that lettering could stand out from a confusing sort of a background. So this is how you would apply lettering in Illustrator.